Hi everyone, and welcome to How Good's Footy in Asia, AFL Asia's official podcast. We're into season 2, and we're overall up to episode 17. Joining us over in Saigon is Billy Bang Bang Krang. We'll get to you shortly, Bill. But today we have a first of many. We've got our first couple on board, and over in Tokyo, 580 k's away from where I am, is Yoshi and Bec Hagiwara. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks, Bill. Nice to meet you.
Yep, thanks for having us.
You must have the heater on because you both got T-shirts on. I've got the heater on in my classroom at the moment. I'm 26 degrees and I'm freezing. Now, just for an update for those people that don't know Yoshi and Bec, Yoshi's pretty heavily involved with AFL Japan behind the scenes and is the media, digital media guru there, has the AFL Asia, AFL Japan podcast and their YouTube channel. And both Bec and Yoshi have co-founded the Japan Mirais, the AFLW team out of AFL Japan. And we'll get to that a little bit more later. But let's get the ball rolling. Bill, you can open the batting with the new ball. Start the innings off, please.
Thanks, Matty. What we normally do first up is we go way back to get a little bit of background. So we'll start with you, Yoshi. Could you tell us just a little bit about your upbringing? You've got two Japanese parents, obviously, how you ended up in Australia and your kind of sporting involvement, and then we'll get to you back.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as you know, my parents are Japanese. So I think I moved to Australia when I was about 7 or 8 years old. Don't know why, probably just a parents' reason, work/education kind of thing. And I grew up on a Gold Coast, Australia. So I love sports, swimming. I love watching rugby league as well. A little bit of AFL, not too much as well. But that's where this sporting upbringing came from. And I met Bec, I don't know when, long time ago now, probably a decade or so. And she's a huge, she's from Victoria, so she's a huge Geelong fan. And I kind of started watching that, and boom, I was into Geelongs all the way.
Right. So you've gone through half our questions in that answer, but we'll go deeper as we move through. The cats is one that we wanted to get deeper on, and so Bec, can you tell us a little bit also about your upbringing, and if you get a chance, throw in your kind of sporting activities as a girl growing up in Melbourne and then ending up on the Gold Coast, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Melbourne, but then relocated to Stevie J's town of Wangaratta, and I lived there until I was about 10-ish. I played tennis in Wangaratta, actually, from when I was about 6 years old, and then I moved to Shepparton and lived there until I was about 16, playing tennis and netball, having a bit of a kick of the footy with my dad and my brother. And then at 16, moved to the Gold Coast and continued to play tennis, where I met Yoshi at 16. And then we began dating at about 18, 19, when I was that age. And then moved to Tokyo when I was about 22, I think. And I've been here ever since. So yes, I love my sport, so very, very sporty.
Okay.
Fair enough. So you'd say the Gold Coast. You go, Matty.
I was just going to say, Yoshi, I don't know when we're actually going to be able to move to Australia, but my son's pretty similar age to you when you moved to Australia. How did you find the first 6 to 12 months trying to learn a new language? I would imagine that you didn't really speak much English before you moved to Australia. How did that all pan out for you?
Oh, to be honest, I'm 32 now, so I don't really remember much, But it wasn't easy. I'm sure. I got a lot of mates to support me. I'm still hanging out with them, so that's where all my terrible English came from. But no, it wasn't easy. But looking back now, it's an awesome experience, and I love the Gold Coast, and I still call the Gold Coast as my family, or my hometown. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. We'll just backtrack a little bit because we have answered some of our questions, which is fine. Look, you guys said that you met each other at a pretty young age. How long have you been together in total, and how long have you lived in Tokyo exactly?
So we've been together about almost 11 years now, and we moved to Tokyo in 2014. So Yoshi came a little bit before me until I graduated university, and then I came over a few months later, and still here.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'll throw it back to you, Bill.
Okay. So footy, especially Maddie and I can attest, in mixed race relationships, footy sometimes has to go on the back burner. We both have wives, Vietnamese and Japanese, who are perplexed by our passion for the game. So first, maybe, Bec, could you explain a little bit about how you became so passionate about AFL, and then how you introduced it to the relationship in the early days? And obviously you did a good job, better than we've managed. We can learn.
Yeah. So I was pretty much born into a Geelong jersey. I had no choice. So from a very young age, I was going to a lot of games, probably every home game Geelong had. And I was pretty fanatical fan, and still am now. We have pretty much every Geelong good possible in the house. And then, Yoshi came along, and I think when he came round to meet my parents, a Geelong game was on, so we had no choice but to sit there and watch it. And he's now probably more fanatical than me. And that's pretty much how it came along.
Fair enough. So as a couple in the Gold Coast, being able to watch, Friday night footy and maybe probably go and watch Gary Ablett play on a Saturday. How did you start to consider the move to Japan, and what were some of the reasons behind it? Was it scary? Was it, easy?
I think Yoshi wanted to come over and experience life in Japan. And so, I thought, what a great experience to come over here. Originally, it was only going to be 1 year, just a working visa. And we really enjoy living here. And one day I'd like to go back home. But at the moment we're having a lot of fun and enjoying it.
Just on that, Yoshi, would you be able to go back to Australia? Would you have to get an Australian visa like my wife's got? What we're applying for?
Yeah, I've got to apply something, but all that kind of paperwork and stuff, I leave that to my wife. But I'm sure that legally somehow. But
I'm just curious, because you've lived in Australia for quite a considerable amount of your life. I just know that we've spent the best part of 10 grand, and the actual visa application 7,780 plus on taxes.
Yeah.
It's about just a bit of Japanese that I know at the moment. It's about Rokuju Mun, so it's about 600,000 yen. And when we paid for it, we were really lucky when the coronavirus did hit that there was a stimulus package sent out by the Japanese government, and the Aussie dollar was just falling, going vertical really quick, and I think we ended up paying about 540,000, and now it's back out to 625,000. So I just know my little mate Nick Mazzino, when he went back to Australia, going back about 6 years ago, he was only half of that, around the 2 or 3 grand price. So get onto it pretty quickly. You both hit the ground running, living in Japan. Yoshi, just want to get an understanding as how you got involved with the R246 Lions. Did you realise that there was footy even existing in Japan, and was it something that you wanted to do when you got here?
Not really. I mean, like I moved to Japan, and we had an international membership of Geelong, and we're watching every game. And as you know, with the Facebook and with the IT, the iguanas, what is it, like their little ads popped up,
right?
That says AFL Japan, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know there was AFL Japan even existed. So I started researching a bit, and I actually wanted to contact the iguanas, but they train like once a week, and I had to work that time. So I kind of emailed a couple of clubs and stuff. And lucky enough, R246 Lions accepted me, and I went to the first training. And I stick by it.
So how long have you played for the R246 Lions now? Is this something that...
Yeah.
So how long have you been playing for them?
About 3 years now.
So right, you moved here in 2013, and it's been only a short period of time. That's interesting. You've definitely made up for lost time, because you're now the face of one of the familiar faces of AFL Japan, and it's you guys have really invested in footy in Japan, and to the point where you've actually co-founded the first AFLW club in Japan, which is the Japan Mirais. Bec, we'll say you're the original co-founder, because I think you're the passionate driving force in the marriage. How did it all come about? Let's just track back to how the birth of the Mirais. How did it all start? And now you're the head coach, and Yoshi's the team manager. He's the lieutenant, and you're the sergeant.
Yeah. So one of my holidays back home, my sister was playing AFL Nines, so I thought, why not give it a go? So while I was back there for about 3 weeks, I played every game possible and really enjoyed it. So when I came back, I thought, why not try and do something here, whether it's AFL Nines or I always went to Yoshi's trainings to help out or do the water or something. And I was like, I'd love to play and get involved. So, yeah, we had a couple of meetings, and then we said, why not give it a shot, and had a couple of open kind of trainings, like with some of the volunteers at other clubs, all the girls and the managers that they have, and then, put it all together.
No, that's terrific. How was the playing numbers looking pre-COVID-19? I know that's put a spanner in the works all throughout the world, but I definitely would have had some issues for you guys as well.
Yeah, a few issues at the moment, but before COVID, we were getting a few newbies every now and then at trainings, and really friends of friends or some university friends of some players that we have. So that was good, but struggling a little bit now just due to the fact we can't go to universities or schools and promote it as much.
Yeah, I definitely know the feeling there. This is a question for both of you. I'll get you to go first, Bec, and then Yoshi. What's the hardest thing about trying to grow the game in Japan?
I think for me personally, what I found hard is all the girls look at football as something really scary and dangerous, and it's only for men. So it's really hard to change their minds about it. Even at trainings, even though we don't do tackling the first time they come to training, but they still look at it as a dangerous sport, and they'll get hurt and things like that. So that's probably the hardest I've found.
Yeah, definitely we find it pretty hard to recruit from the start. You know, we've been getting a lot of friends of a friend or through the university kind of things, but trying to get like a fresh, brand new people are quite hard as well. And we do go to university as well, but first thing they ask is like, is it an Olympic sport? You know, how popular is it? So yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, you know, it's a 2020 season Olympics. That kind of thing is the topic as well. But they kept asking how popular is it, and for Japanese people, if it's not popular, then it maybe perhaps it's not worth it or something.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing we find is that the Japanese people just love working. It's a phenomenal working society. People work late at night. I don't know what percentage, but I always say there's about 60% of the population work on Saturdays until 2:30. So it's quite difficult to get any trainings, and ground space is also, as you know, pretty difficult to find as well. On the Olympics, you guys you're living in Tokyo. What's the feeling about the Olympics going ahead? I've heard lots of whispers in the past week. How do you see it? And I'll give my take afterwards.
Yeah, I've heard those as well. I'm constantly on the Aussie news, and it sounded like it was cancelled during the week, and then Tokyo's saying no, it's not. So just from my work and talking to Japanese people, everyone says it shouldn't go ahead, and they don't want it to go ahead, and the health of citizens should come first. So yeah, I think it's unlikely unless they can somehow vaccinate everybody before it happens.
Yeah, I've got my take on it, and I'm of the belief that there's going to be one or two things. firstly, it's going to get cancelled, but secondly, they're either going to give Tokyo the 2032 Olympic Games, but then the infrastructure is probably not going to be quite at its best by then. So I reckon they'll roll back Tokyo to 2024, and then Paris and LA will get the following ones, whatever order they're in at the moment. But, they're fighting. The guy that's the key organiser, for those people that don't know out there, the Olympic key organiser is a former Prime Minister of Japan, and it's his dream to see this Olympics go ahead. He's 84 years old and he's got cancer. So if it does get moved, he's highly unlikely that he's ever going to be alive to see it. So that's probably one of the areas of thinking. But the general economy, so, the IOC is obviously going to make the ratings and they're going to get the TV rights and they're going to sell that off pretty easy, but Japan's going to lose all the money from the ticketing and the tourism. So I think for the health of the population here in Japan, we've got 126 million people. We're down to about 65,000 active cases at the moment after a third outbreak of this third wave of the coronavirus. It's probably putting it too much to think that everyone can get vaccinated, but there'd be no spectators, you couldn't imagine, even if it does go ahead. So for the benefit of everyone, I think it needs to be moved to another year. Anyway, back over to you, please, Bill. Fire away.
Yeah, I just wanted to double back a little bit. I had a few internet problems there, so forgive me if I've missed anything. But can I grab the translation of the word mirais?
Yep. So mirai means future in Japanese, and so it means the future. I believe the female sports in Japan should be the future. So as you can tell from Japan, like table tennis, badminton, we have swimming as well. The female athletes are doing really well in Japan. So I believe the sports for women for AFL will be the future. And on the logo as well, like if you're talking about the name, like I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit of Fuji as well, Mount Fuji.
Yeah, okay, yep.
And it made out of the different crystals as well. So we believe it's a little part of the female goals being shattered and trying to put pieces together to meet the same goal.
And I'm not sure the colours. It is navy blue and white, not a dark purple, is it?
No, it's a navy blue.
Naturally, okay. Well done. I'm surprised. Does the word cat not translate so well into Japanese?
We did try. We really tried. We shot it down a little bit.
No,
the Japan Nichols.
Yeah.
So another amazing kind of fact that I certainly didn't know, and I imagine most people through Asia wouldn't know, is that you guys were able to play together at the Shanghai Cup in 2019 for the Hong Kong Dragons. Maybe you first, Bec. How was that experience? And did Yoshi look after you on the field, or how did you go?
Yeah, he looked after me, of course. But yeah, it was a great experience. I was a little bit nervous playing with guys, like on a field, and I think I got tackled in the first minute, and then I was like, oh, it's okay now, so it was fine. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I'd love to do it again, but I'm not sure if that'll happen in
in the
near future. Anyway.
How did you find it, Yoshi?
I was awesome. It was feeling like I was kind of nervous. I do wanted to look after her at the same time. She's my teammate. Bec was playing the up forward. I was playing the back line as well, so I could kind of see the little blondie was running around in the forward line. I believe we were playing against the Asia Lions, or Asia Lions, what it's called. So we were playing them with half a Japanese guy as well. So we rocked up on the same plane, and I said goodbye to the boys and chuck on the Hong Kong Dragons. They were a bit surprised that we were playing together as well, because we didn't tell anybody at that time. And Bec got a free kick as well, and she had a chance to kick the goal, and it was an amazing feeling. And if the Hong Kong Dragons or any team will have us again, we will definitely play.
Fantastic. Just interestingly, in Hanoi this year, we were able to get up a mixed league. And one thing that we found, or the guys in the north found, was that, the women have actually demanded in 2021 that league goes gender. The women were like, no, the game gets a bit disjointed with the worry of the two genders and not anyone wanting to do anything out of line. So they're going to mix with the Gaelic team here up in Hanoi and play Gaelic one week and AFL the next week, so they can get male and female leagues up and running. Now, the next question is one that actually, it's the top of my mind. Yoshi, you've become, fairly prominent in terms of representing AFL in Japan, most notably through the AFL Japan YouTube page. For people like myself who may not have been proactively following the channel, can you tell us a little bit about the content that you guys produce and then how it affects the scene, I guess, in Japan?
Yep, definitely. I mean, we kind of started off for Japanese viewers, obviously, and we're trying to promote the boys, especially during the COVID season as well. But yeah, we wanted to give a live game, a bit of a commentating as well, so that we could recruit more players / trying to get more players involved. But yeah, we have two main channels. The first one is called Discovery. What we do is we're trying to get the Australian AFL news into Japanese society in Japanese, so they get some insider gossip about the Geelong players and a few other clubs as well. So and we do a match report as well, and then we pick up some key scenes and players. So we do that weekly, and at the same time, we also have a channel called AFL Japan TV. What it does is we're trying to give the AFL news back to Australia or back to international. So we do this in English and Japanese as well. So we want to promote AFL Japan globally, especially for Asia countries as well. So yeah, that's what we do here.
Okay. What's the actual? It's just YouTube AFL Japan. Easy to find.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think just AFL. If you search AFL Japan, it should pop up. And
fantastic. Now, Bec, I was hoping for this. I'll double back to the Hong Kong Dragons. How was it? I don't know if you can read the comment. Maddie actually had written for me to say, how was it to play with another Yoshi? It's not something that you would frequently do, but Yoshi, who's been on this podcast, actually played with you guys and the Dragons. His comment's a little bit long. For how was it to play with your namesake? That was a connected question to the previous question. How did you find it?
Yeah. It was lots of fun. I think both Yoshis have a great character, and yeah, it's lots of fun, I think.
Yeah. Yoshi said he got quite confused as people would be yelling his name, and it wasn't actually him. It's never happened to him in football before. Normally, if Maddie's yelling Yoshi, he knows he's got to do something.
Yeah. I think. Now, yeah.
Sorry. One last question. Bec, the AFLW season kicks off tonight and this weekend. Firstly, are there some specific games that you'd be looking forward to over the opening round? And secondly, what's your take been on, I guess, the incredible growth of AFLW in the last few years, firstly in Australia, but then also watching it throughout Asia as you're living in Asia?
Yeah, so obviously I'm going to watch the Geelong women's team, and I also have a soft spot for the Gold Coast Suns team because 2 years ago I was lucky enough to go, or we were lucky enough to meet David Lake, the coach, and tour around the facilities and get to meet some players from both men and women's teams. So I'll be definitely watching that on Saturday. And yeah, it's amazing the growth that happened when it started. Not many people watched or were that interested in women's footy. And yeah, now they're selling out tickets in 2 hours for the games, and it's really good. Yeah.
Just on that, we'll get to this very shortly. So you mentioned David Lake, and David Lake is actually his apparel company, Tribal Sport, is actually one of our key sponsors with AFL Asia, and we'll get to our Tribal Sports Friendly Fire round very, very shortly. Just some news that I don't know whether I'm allowed to announce it or not, but I believe that there's going to be a little there's a little mid-eye growing inside your belly, Bec. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I am 19 weeks now. So it's very active. So I think it's going to be a footy player and hopefully play well.
I don't think the boy or the girl has got any choice in the matter, but it's fantastic to see. Just one thing for you, Yoshi, before we do get to the tribal sport-friendly fire round, is it hard to get up every week and continue the content for the AFL Japan channels, given that, we're struggling to keep up with our own AFL Japan Facebook posts and our podcasts and everything. How does it all fit into your lifestyle?
Well, footy's my life, no joke. I do work, I teach English, but no joke. Like I was just before this morning, I was working on a bit of AFL stuff as well. It's not easy, but as you know, I work with Michito and Kuno. So we have a team of 3, and how it works with us is like Michito and I were kind of the crazy ones, and I can't censor stupid things and ridiculous ideas, and Michito jumping on board as well, and then we have a little talk, calming us down and then saying what's right and what's wrong. So we have a great relationship with that. And I'm the youngest one. I'm the craziest one. So I get to say whatever I want. And like this, I get to go on the camera like this and say whatever I want. And it works like that. But no, all the news and stuff we do share around. And like I said, with the AFL news, W is starting today. So hopefully next week with our channels, we'll be able to speak more about the results of W as well. And hopefully we'll have to go in A-League starts and we'll be able to, give no news in English as well. So it's not easy, but we're enjoying it.
No, terrific. Just for those viewers out there that don't know, Michito Sakaki is probably the best Asian-born footballer I've ever come across. Did a pre-season with the Essendon Footy Club back in 2005, I believe, and at the age of 35, 36, he's still running circles around everyone. He was the Division 2 AFL International Cup MVP for the whole tournament, and I think he's won 4 or 5 Peter Wilson medals in the league, and he hasn't actually played in the league for the last few years because both of our clubs have gone into a development league, which I hope will change moving forward because it'd be good to get back in there and centralise everything, create some more opportunities for participation. But just before we do go to the tribal sports, I got a photo the other day from a friend, a Japanese friend who's living in Australia, that the sponsor of AFL Japan, the 4 and 20 pies, are hitting all 7-Eleven stores across Japan. So great news.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Because I think it started off there Tokyo from 7-Eleven or something, and I did hear about the Osaka 7-Eleven's going to be in the stores now. So yeah,
it's right across Fukuoka, all the major cities. So it's big news. And although I'm on a diet, I might have to have a bit of a sneaky look at 7-Eleven. I'm normally a Lawson man, so that's a story for another day. Now, today's tribal sports friendly fire round, tribal sport for all your apparel needs. And I know that the Tokyo Goannas touched base with me a week or so ago to get the details of David Lake to make purchase their first order for the year. Thanks to Big Lakey and the team at Tribal Sport, outstanding sponsors, and we're looking forward to getting Lakey on our podcast in the coming weeks, given that the Gold Coast Suns AFLW head coach is kicking off his season this weekend. And thank you very much for your support, Lakey, and all the team at Tribal Sport. Get in touch with them for all your apparel needs. Bill, friendly fire round, and Billy, spot fires crank. Here we go.
Righto. So we've never done this with a couple, so we'll have to get a few ground rules going. We're going to ladies first. So each question will go to you, Bec, and then Yoshi. So the first question is just any nicknames that you've had.
Nope, just Bec.
Okay. What about you, Yoshi?
Once called me Nuts. I don't know why, but yeah, Nuts, yeah.
Okay. And now which clubs have you played for? You could mention a few other sports if you want to.
So I haven't played Aussie rules in Australia, so I've only played Mirais and been involved with R246 Lions. Tennis, I played Wangaratta Tennis Club, Shepparton Tennis Club, at Gold Coast as well. So yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, same. Just the Lions in Australia, Lions in Japan, but we used to play tennis together as well on the Gold Coast, and I played a little bit of a table tennis as well, but no, that's about it.
So Yoshi, can I just go a little bit off topic again? But when you were in Australia, and obviously you're watching footy on the weekend with Bec's family, you've got no choice in that. Were you getting out and having a kick a little bit as well, or when did you start to pick up some of the skills?
Yeah. Like when I was in university, like I had 3 other housemates, so we used to play a little bit of kicks and stuff, the basketball and things like this. So yeah, definitely a few kicks, but yeah, just self-taught, terrible at it, but I'm getting better.
So what number do you wear?
My number's 13.
13, lucky 13.
And 14.
Okay, nice.
That is.
And what's your favourite position, Bec? Do you normally try and play up forward or?
Yeah, I would say mid forward because I'm quite short, so cannot defend.
Yep.
I like in the back line. I play forward, but no, I like to go back and let the control from the back line.
Just on that, before we go to the next question, I reckon Bec got more possessions than not this Yoshi, but the clubhouse resident Yoshi. And for those that don't know anything about Yoshi, this Yoshi as a footballer, Yoshi's a really good rebounding defender and does like sneaking up forward to get a goal running out of defence. So he killed us last game. But back to you, Bill.
That's all right. The next question's a bit irrelevant. AFL team. We'll skip straight through that. Who's the best player or players that you've come across in AFL Asia?
I would say this is a tough question.
Yeah, it's on the spot.
Obviously, Yoshi's very good, but Michito is very good for the Lions, and Mirais. I would say Sako is doing a great job, always practicing outside of our training as well. So very motivated to play football.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say Sako. She's one of our players as well. She's really motivated. We kind of gave a footy and a couple of cones to take home during the COVID season. And probably like weekly messages and what's informing and how much she's been training. So good on her.
Yeah. Now, this one's also a bit on the spot, but who are your best teammate or teammates if you can't split them?
Oh, you can answer first.
All right. Well, Toyoshi is captain of the R246 Lions. He's a couple of years younger than me. And he's a captain. He's a great captain, and he does lead the club as well. But I'm a little bit older than him, so my role is kind of support him, and I want him to be a good captain. And I trust him and love his work.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be diplomatic and say all my teammates are great.
Yeah. We get quite a few of those. So this one, no diplomacy here. The most annoying teammate or teammates. There's always one.
Me. Yes, maybe this one.
Well done.
Well, probably Michito, I guess. Like Matt said, he's a passionate player. He's a really good player. But when he gets angry, like social distancing training, like we're doing hill runs and we're doing some suicide runs, and I really wanted to. Wasn't happy at that time, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So off the footy for a few minutes. What's your favourite meal?
I would say bolognese spaghetti.
Okay, so I'll take up that for a minute. I love Japanese food. Absolutely loved my time early last year, pre-COVID. Stayed with Maddie for a few days. Went to Tokyo for a couple of days and up to Hokkaido for a few days. How do you find the Japanese versus Australian cuisine? Would you miss it if you went back, or?
I would definitely miss some things. I think I'm very lucky living here. Most of the food is very healthy, so it's easy to eat and really good as well. So,
not all of it's healthy. The best one, tonkotsu ramen, 1,200 calories in one bowl.
That's right.
Thankfully, I used to have 2 a week, believe it or not, and with extra meat and sometimes extra noodles and the thickest broth you could get. But I reckon I only had 10 for the year last year, which hence why I've lost 22 kilos. But yeah, I'll miss that the most. And I think sushi, we take it for granted. Like it's about $1.23 a plate at the moment, compared to $5, $3.50, $5 back home. So that's what I'll miss when I eventually get back, which might be years away with this COVID. Who knows?
What's your pick, Yoshi?
It's real hard, very simple, but I love my cereal.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I love Japanese food. I like yakiniku, which is like the Korean style barbecue. Yep. Like that, but ultimately, in summer, I love my cereal.
Fair enough. So, favorite holiday destination?
I would say Phuket or Bali.
Yeah, Bali for me. We love it so much. We decided to get married in Bali. So.
Wow. Yep. Another on the spot sort of question. But if you could invite any 4 people to a dinner party, who would they be?
I prepared this because I've seen your other podcast. Of course, some Geelong players: Gary Ablett, Junior, Tom Hawkins, and I would go Roger Federer and Steve Smith or Michael Clark for cricket as well.
Okay, you'd take Junior over Senior. I feel like there's a few more stories in Senior.
I would, but that's because I grew up watching Junior, so yes, I want to speak to him.
Yep.
For me, I don't know. It's really hard. Of course, a bit of a Geelong players as well. I do want to speak with a bit of a backman as well. So, like Harry Taylor, Zach Smith. Not Zach Smith. Sorry, what's his name? Zach Dewey. But other than that, I don't know. Just a bit of a politician as well. I wanted to know what's happening at the Olympics and COVID. So I'll turn Governor Koike or something. That would be nice. But I wouldn't have a clue.
All good. So what's back onto the footy a bit? What's been your best footy trip?
Best footy trip. Definitely the Shanghai Cup would have to be up there. But the regular trips to Osaka are fun. The guys all go in the car, and I take the bullet train because I do not want to sit in a car for 9 hours. But it's always lots of fun.
Same here. I really enjoyed the trip, but we drive up. It takes about 9 hours or something. Without Beck, it's all boys, and we get to do a little bit of a bit of a karaoke in the car. World Cup. And we pick Beck up at the nearest station at Izumi Village or something. Beck is all freshed up and ready to go, and all the players are tired. No, it's always fun, and there's always that kind of bondage, I guess, with our mates and stuff. So really important for us.
I reckon the last 2 times you guys have come up, I reckon Beck's caught the local train with us.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, from Kaizuka to the end of the local line. So it's I'm yet to get a lift out of anyone back to the station to finish the game. I've always got to walk back, but there's always someone injured in those games. I don't know why. We're only 4 15-minute quarters on artificial turf on the side of a mountain. And I think when you played, Bill, it was pretty cold that night and a little bit breezy. But yeah, you guys probably didn't even know Bill was visiting us at that stage, and he was our bit of a marquee player for the night. We might have to get him back.
Pretty obvious. I had tracksuits under my football pants. I was fairly a fish out of water.
I remember that. It was a couple of years ago or something.
It was January last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long year.
Yeah, it has.
Yoshi, did you play in the infamous Brian Lake Cup going back a few years ago?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I reckon that might have been one of the first times we met each other, actually.
I think
Could have
it
been.
was.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because we all played together. It was sort of a mix with the Lions and the Dingoes that day. We sort of made a Japan team.
It was soaking wet as well. We were like sliding out.
It was a typhoon, and we were actually pretty close to actually calling the game off. So
I remember that
particular venue, we've been out there for the Brian Lake Cup when it was a typhoon. And the next year we played, and it was snowing. It was 0 degrees when we started the game. So we've had some incredible games out at that particular location. But the one that we played with Bill, we've been playing there for a while now, and that's much better, I feel. Anyway, back to you, Bill. Sorry for interrupting.
All right, Bec. Let's see how well you did prepare from previous podcasts. This is the worst question. 3 things that people wouldn't know about you.
Oh, no, I didn't prepare.
And we asked this question after we've been asking about you for 1 hour, so you've got to dig pretty deep.
When I played tennis, I smashed multiple rackets. So I'm a kind of sports person. Well, no, everybody knows I don't speak Japanese, so that's not.
I didn't know.
Me too.
Okay.
I'll let you have that.
And no. Let me think for a little bit, please.
Yeah, okay. How about you, Yoshi?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess I teach English, and a lot of students doesn't know I speak Japanese. I keep that a secret. On purpose as well, just to a bit of English practice. So,
good boy.
That's one. I can grow a beard, but I try to. I tell people I trim it, but this is like my maximus right now. But that's another one. I don't know. Do you have your third one?
No, I don't.
That's pretty good. Just to round out the Tribal Talks friendly fire round. In your opinion, what do you see in the future of AFL Asia, and how do you see it impacting Asian communities? You're very welcome to put a more Japanese spin on that as well.
I think once COVID's under control, I think there's a huge potential to be able to expand even further. Obviously, international cups help that, and hopefully we can have a women's team there as well as the men's team to help spread awareness.
Yeah, I really think the next few years is going to be the key years. Like us, the Mirais, we're unknown, obviously, but we were lucky enough to be on your podcast as well, and IC Cup hopefully in a few years' time, and hopefully we can go back home, perhaps and watch or even play AFL, junior league as well. So yeah, a couple of years' time is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, just on that, we're really hopeful that the Japan Mirais and can come across for our next AFLW Asian Championships. And we've seen clubs that have come over in their infancy, like you, with not as a full team. They can get easily filled up with other players from other teams, and that's how you spread the love and really grow it. And then you've got an opportunity to actually play against some opposition, which is probably the hardest thing at the moment. Is in that infancy stage, is being able to grow the numbers enough so you've got 2 teams to play against each other within your own country. So getting out and about when COVID travel's safe again, that'll be interesting to get you guys out there and amongst that action. Anything else left over there for you, Bill?
Yeah, one more. It's great to have Jess Cole watching on, another kind of leader of the AFLW movement. And she's requested more power couple chats. So it's the first time we've done it, but I think it's been a really great dynamic, and Jess agrees. So thanks, Jess. Yeah,
Jess Cole, the president of the Hong Kong Dragons AFLW team. She's done magnificent things over there in Hong Kong, and is a real leader in our women's football in Asia. So it's been brilliant to have you guys on board today. We've loved the opportunity, and it's going to get some good ratings having couples on here in the future. I won't let the rabbit out of the hat just yet, but our next guest in 2 weeks' time is a former AFL player, and he's quite well known. He's still heavily involved in the game. One of the longest.
Could I mention that Root will be very excited, or is that too much?
Root will be super excited. So we're not going to give it away too much.
The rabbits. No.
We'll let you try and. No one's going to get it, but he's a former Western Bulldogs superstar. So there's a big announcement coming out of AFL Asia tomorrow. We won't say too much more, but our next guest is heavily involved with that, and it's also involved with AFL women's footy indirectly. So stay tuned for more. Yoshi and Bec and Bill. Bec, you get the 3 votes today. Yoshi, you get 2. The little mid-eye in the belly, he gets the 1. Bill was no good today. I wasn't much chop either. But no, it's been magnificent having you guys. And as we say in Japan, arigato daimasu, osukaresama deshita.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us.
Yeah, this has been Matty Gale, Billy Bang Grang Krang, and the Hagiwara couple marriage. And we thank you for joining us. We'll catch up with you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks and bye for now.